is Gov's Radio.
Gov's Radio.
And you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Okay. Okay, we'll just do that for right now.
This is Ruth Buzzy, and I'd like you to know how much I love the Knockem Dead radio show coming to you live on govsradio.com. Oh, you make me laugh. You really do. Oh, please. I can't do this anymore.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sallie on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot. And you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus, and
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, that Knockem Dead Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warm up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when we're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy off those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
That one. Nope, this one. This one. Hi.
Sorry for the delay. Having some technical issues this morning. We're not on govsradio.com this morning. We're not, so we're dealing with a delay again. But that's all right. We're here. You're here. Everybody's here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown. It is March 4th. March 4th. Rich is here. Ken is there. I have the Ken puppet.
I can't see me. I have a still screen today. Can you hear me?
What do you have?
I have a still screen on where I see you in my Zoom.
All right, hang on.
Just don't worry.
That's not important. Yeah, I was going to say don't mess with it, but I mean, it makes it harder to be your puppet. But
so you don't see us?
I do not see you. I see the image of the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show with the 30 faces on it.
Wow. No, we see you fine, and
we're not happy about that.
Well,
what's happening there? You good?
Yeah.
Bum luck.
Phone's ringing.
All right. So, but we see you fine, and it is working on Facebook, Ken. So we're just going to go with it. All right.
I see you. I see me and you and all of us on my phone now.
Oh, all right. Good. So, you guys saw the Teespring ad before we started. Please go to teespring.com. Get yourself some Govs Radio swag. If you send us a photo of yourself with some Govs Radio swag, if you send a picture of it of yourself on Facebook, you'll get yourself some free passes to Governor's Comedy Club. Govs.com is the website for the club. That's where you to go. That's where you can go to get the schedule of the club, find out what's happening, and we have more on that in a minute. Right now, we're going to Ken Pichelle, our Dr. Adman.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Good morning. I'm ready now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is time for the ads. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Roslyn Social, a social experience in dining. Roslyn Social is the area's premier location for elevated pub food, craft cocktails, and local beers. Roslyn Social is open for socially distanced dining, takeout, curbside pickup, delivery, and on your favorite food service apps. Even their famous cocktails and desserts are available to go as well. You can follow them on Facebook at Roslyn Social. They are located in the heart of Roslyn Village at 1363 Old Northern Boulevard. That's 1363 Old Northern Boulevard in Roslyn. Give Roslyn Social a call and say hi to Nick at 516-801-4963. That's 516-801-4963. Thank you from Roslyn Social. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. Two Eagles Auto Body is a family-owned and operated collision shop located in New Hyde Park, Long Island. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Two Eagles Auto Body handles foreign and domestic automobiles and motorcycles using such techniques as state-of-the-art paint spray booths and computer color matching. In the event of an accident, Two Eagles Auto Body has their own tow trucks and will walk you through the process from start to finish. From tow through the insurance process to the return of your vehicle, Two Eagles Auto Body is with you. Two Eagles Auto Body is constantly striving for perfection, with your satisfaction being their number one priority. Two Eagles Auto Body is located in New Hyde Park, Long Island at 1818 Falmouth Avenue. That's 1818 Falmouth Avenue in New Hyde Park. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527. Also, follow them on Facebook at Two Eagles Auto Body. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. That's Gina Conjemi Coffin, licensed real estate agent with Signature Premier Properties. 631-495-7696. That's 631-495-7696. When you work with Gina, you tap into the collective experience of the best, most experienced realtors on Long Island. Contact Gina today to discuss how Signature Premier Properties and Gina can help you market and sell your property successfully or find your perfect home. More information about Gina's listings can be found at signaturepremier.com. That's signaturepremier.com. List your house with Gina, and she will work so hard for you and sell your house so fast that it will make your
head
spin. It will make your head spin. The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Bella Vista Pizza. Bella Vista Pizza for the best pizza in the whole wide world. Check out Bella Vista Pizza, where they offer thin crust, thin whole wheat, deep dish, and gluten-free pies. Also, pasta and baked dishes, calzones and rolls, heroes, entrees, salads, sides, and appetizers. You can follow them on Facebook at Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta. That's Bella Vista Pizza and Pasta on Facebook, and on Instagram at Bella Vista Pizza LI. That's at Bella Vista Pizza LI on Instagram. Bella Vista Pizza is located at 154 Minetto Hill Road in Plainview. That's 154 Minetto Hill Road in Plainview. 516-433-4464. That's 516-433-4464. Mention Knockem Dead Comedy to receive a free garlic knot. BellaVistaPizza.com. Bambinos, check them out today. And of course, the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by Knockem Dead Comedy. Knockem Dead Comedy, the premier murder mystery dinner theater company that provides interactive murder mystery dinner theater, game shows, variety shows, and more. You plan the party, they'll plan the murder. Knockem Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery dinner theater company from Pennsylvania to Maine and everywhere in between. You may select between the Hillbilly Hoedown, a redneck wedding, the family, the fun, and the felony, the high school reunion, and the whacked family reunion, a lethal luau. Knockem Dead Comedy will provide a fun-filled evening full of audience interaction, including music and dancing, games and prizes, and tons of laughter. Knockem Dead Comedy shows can be seen at restaurants, catering halls, even your home. Their shows are perfect for corporate events, team building events, wedding rehearsal dinners, holiday parties, fundraisers, sweet 16s, and bar mitzvahs. You can follow them on Facebook at Knockem Dead Comedy and on Instagram at Knockem Dead Comedy. That's at Knockem Dead Comedy on Instagram. For upcoming show dates, check out knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. That's knockemdeadcomedy.com/show dates. Rich, Sallie, Tony, I'm all done.
Super job there, Dr. Ken Edman Pichel.
Did I see something on Facebook this morning about the current state of the world and Knockem Dead Comedy Murder Mysteries?
It's coming. We have all sorts of stuff to talk about here, Ken, that we're going to get to.
Awesome.
Lots of stuff happening this morning. Thank you, sir.
Little teaser for you all.
There you go.
Out there in Viewerland, kids.
Thank you, pal.
Thanks, y'all.
And we will... yeah, we have a lot to do, and then we have a special guest, so we're going to say goodbye to you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, pal. Later, Ken.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, so we have Catman is watching. Kathy's watching. Nikki, Joan. Good morning, everybody. Who else is it? Jeff Bosey's watching. Kevin, of course, is here. Hello, Mom. Carrie, Nikki. Did I say Nikki already? Adam Snare says, Mookie says, man, more than DJ D Love. Yes, he does. Scott is watching. What happened there? Greg D. Filippo is watching. Kenny Shevlin should rhyme the eds like Dr. Seuss for all the rubes that fell for the red herring that Seuss was canceled. All right. Hello, Bill. All right. Well, it wasn't all of Dr. Seuss. It was just, 6 books? We talked about it the other day. Just 6 books. All right. We got a lot going on here today. We have joining us on Zoom in between 11:30 and 12. We originally were saying 12, but he may be joining us earlier. Ray Abruzzo from who played Little Carmine on The Sopranos. Ray Abruzzo, he's on a ton of other things as well, but he'll be joining us in a little while. Looking forward to that. We're going to hang out with him and chat with him. But the big news before we get to Ray...
Bigger news than that? It's not bigger news than
that. For New Yorkers, it is.
True.
Oh, okay.
The big
I know
news.
what you're getting at.
Oh.
Yeah.
What'd you think I was getting
I
at?
think Ray would... I didn't know. I have no idea what you were going to talk about.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Keep those... Put the headphones down if you're not using them. They were starting to feedback just now. Yeah.
All right, I'll use them. It's just hard because I can't. When we have Zoom, I can't. If you see me like moving around all the time, it's because I have 2 places to put my headphone set in, and when I can do it off the board without Zoom, I can control how much sound is coming into my headphone. And when I do Zoom, I have to plug it in over here, and it's the volume for everything. So I just have to be kind of stuck with the highest volume on like the
do what I do.
Face of the earth.
Turn them all the way up and leave them right there.
Well, that's just it. I was like putting them here, but if they're not on my head, then it makes everything else staticky.
Put them like over here somewhere. You could probably still hear maybe because that's what Rich is saying.
This is the issues when you are a top flight board engineer.
That's right. Top flight is spot on.
That's
there.
BOARD for those of you who thought I meant BORED.
And right, and you can still, you hear just fine leaving them there because
What?
you don't like to mess that.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly. You know, I'm just jealous.
They don't fit as good because you have the aerodynamic skull
Exactly.
cap on, and so yours fit good. You know.
You know what I'm thinking of doing? I'll just because like the other day I had I was wearing like during we weren't on the air. We were doing stuff in here. We were taking pictures of the hosts and stuff. And I had a ski hat on, you know, and that muffled it and that helped a lot. So maybe like on Zoom days I'll wear like a
on Zoom days.
Yeah, on Zoom days.
Or you can get
open the phone
headphones
line.
from the 21st century. You know, right?
Right.
You can get 21st century headphones.
Yeah. I actually was gonna like look at that. I thought you were gonna talk. So were you doing your
Well, I thought
news? I always wait till you finish like your big announcement.
Let's go, baby. Make those announcements.
Just leave them open, and then
Leave me alone.
Wow. All right.
Sheesh.
I got.
Thanks for reading the memo about the red shirt.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
It's Red Shirt Thursday.
It's always Red Shirt Thursday.
He always wears red
when
shirts
I
on
when I
Thursday.
worked for CWA, it was Red Shirt Thursday to show our solidarity, our union brotherhood solidarity. So I've been doing this since 1992, wearing a red shirt every Thursday.
Oh, I'm doing the afternoon shift at Target. But I mean, you got your own reasons. That's cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going with that. I'm telling everybody that Rich Rada supports CWA.
Okay. And Target.
And Target.
Not an advertiser.
And that's complete opposite end of the
Yet.
spectrum.
Not an
there.
advertiser of Knockem Dead Comedy yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? We have to get him I don't have to see if I have some KDC shirts to give you. I'll have to look.
Huh?
All right. So the big news. The big news. April 2nd, baby. April 2nd. If you're on Long Island, guess where you can go April 2nd? You can come into this building. Woo! There's going to be a comedy show in that big room known as the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown.
Yeah.
The Brokerage in Belmore and McGuire's in Bohemia. Those are the three great Governor's Comedy Clubs. All three opening back up April 2nd, 2021. And we're all very excited. What are the chances of you being on one of those stages that night?
0.
Come on, really?
I won't be on one of the stages. I'll be in one of those crowds.
Oh, yeah.
I will not be on one of those stages. Listen, comedy's opening back up indoors for the first time in forever.
Right.
You
It's
got to
not
go.
even
You got to
outside.
bring out the big guns. You got to put the big names on the stage.
100 up. You can have up to 100 people indoors, up to 200 people outdoors. So I bet
Let's
you.
pray for beautiful weather
Exactly.
and have an indoor-outdoor show.
Let's get-
and then
right.
2 more indoor shows.
They'll get that patio back up.
Right.
That's true. It
right.
could be really nice weather. We
Right.
don't know.
I'm assuming, I don't know which one, but you got to assume Bosie's headlining, if not all the clubs that night. He might bounce from club to club to club.
Bosie?
Yeah, he'll probably headline all 3.
By headline, you mean he'll be.
I mean, turned away at the door.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be at the front of the line
Yeah.
to buy tickets.
Right. Yeah. Same thing, right? He's at the head of the line. Is that not headlining?
I'm just reading now what
Oh, congratulations. You just started to read.
I didn't read this close enough when the governor put this out. Because then it says with testing,
Yeah, 150.
up to 150 people indoors and up to 500 people outdoors.
Well, do you have any STDs?
Not anymore. No,
So
of course not.
150.
But what does this mean? So
I guess if you have,
bring
I guess if
proof
you
of
have
testing?
some way to do rapid testing or something at the door.
So it has to be that kind of testing. It's not just like checking people's
Taking temperature?
temperature.
I don't think that's
I
an
wouldn't say-
accurate barometer for transmission.
I agree.
You would think we'd know this after like 12 months
over
of
a year
shit,
of this.
right?
You'd think we'd be experts.
Yes, which we're not.
We're not. I don't want to be. I don't want to be an expert. I just want it to go away soon.
Yeah,
Well, true.
Yeah, it would be great. So, but it is good news if April 2nd is 33%.
Yes.
You got to assume we're tracking towards boom 50,
Oh, yeah, of
boom
course.
75, boom 100. I mean, if you could physically lift the building up and bring it to Texas, it's 100%
Of
no
course,
mask.
and
And
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
And you're not allowed to
just
say the words COVID
decided
within the
to.
state line.
Right.
Yeah, you're just.
Or
They're going rogue. It's like
it is crazy.
Well, think about it.
Crazy.
A little scary.
What better way to distract people's attention from totally fucking up a frosty electrical grid failure than going, hey, let me throw you guys a bone and forget COVID exists.
I think what they were trying to do is get rid of Mark White. And now,
but they already got rid of him.
well, that's what I'm saying. Now that he's gone, now they're opening things back up.
Oh.
Like, oh, now he's gone. Now we can get back to normal around here. That's what I think's going on.
Now Oregon has to like close up everything.
Yeah.
Does Oregon even have anything to close?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, is the lumber mill not operating
I
right
was
now?
going to say a forest, yeah.
Yeah. Is a place that makes duck shoes? What are they going to cut the hours?
Well, all right, so England has said that they think they'll be able to open everything back up in October. And our numbers are better than theirs. So maybe, so we might be on a better track.
Our numbers might
there.
be better, but we also have, 5 times the population?
Well, true,
right?
true.
And also probably a lot more stubborn people.
Yes.
This is going to be the test, right? Because we got some good news. We got all the vaccines, right? They're trying to crank them all out. This is going to be a test of, can people just hang in there a slight bit longer,
right?
Or are they? Is
No.
just all
No,
hell
we
going to break
can't.
loose? Yeah, I go with no, but I don't think we're going to go slide backwards like they think we're going to slide backwards into like some crazy lockdown again.
I don't know. I mean, if we weren't having like all these extra different strands, I'd be with you. But with other stuff kind of erupting around, I don't know.
I think it's COVID's last stand. It's trying to hang in there and change its. We're on to COVID now. I think we're on to COVID.
Baseball's going to have a full season.
Not the minors though. Did you see the minors?
Oh, no, I
delaying a
didn't know.
month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh. So and who knows? Maybe maybe things will go well for Texas. Maybe we should pull for Texas and Mississippi and hope that they do great.
Hey, listen, anyone who thinks otherwise is crazy because there's no artificial state. There's no line that goes, oh, the virus won't go over the state line. It's like it's open.
Well, that's
air.
what I mean.
True,
Like,
right?
I was actually saying to Tony this morning, like you can do that as a state, but then no one comes in and out. Like if you want to like screw up your own.
Let's just hope
do it.
Stuff goes well.
But don't
right,
be like,
that's what I'm saying.
Don't be like touring because like we take the brunt of it. We take, people are flying in a JFK all the time. Oh, we're on holiday. Let's go to New York. Like we have to put up with other people's like stupidity.
But I will say this. I mean, just because they're lifting the mask, there are people who still will wear their masks and still be cautious. They're not everyone's just going to go commando all of a sudden. And,
that's part of this too here here at the comedy clubs. The social distancing and face coverings are still required, even with the 100 people indoors and 200 outdoors. Still social distancing, still face coverings, but I'm assuming it's going to be like everything else. Once you sit down, you can take it off, like in a restaurant.
I guess
I
just think. Listen, it's a good sign. I mean, they've been in fairness. I never understood the whole, if you can open up a restaurant at 33%, why the comedy clubs were the last,
No, I never understood that either.
I really didn't. It's arbitrary. I understand.
I just figured
bullshit.
someone was mad at someone because it didn't make any sense to me.
But catering halls too were having a thing. And I mean, let's be honest. Don't you think the state of this country would have been a lot better if there was comedy and not mystery shows?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That goes without saying.
How are you... There's no way for you guys to even make up for the $10-12 million you lost in salary this year.
Nope.
Right. That's
Not
correct.
at all.
So
we didn't even get our special cash deals under the table.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
And now are strip clubs allowed to open too? Because
the strip club's opening. We need to know. I don't. I haven't been to a strip club in days. I mean, I have no idea, but. Wouldn't you think that people who frequent strip clubs aren't really virus worried?
And
I mean,
I
is
would
their
imagine,
biggest issue COVID?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, so should we try to predict what's going to happen April 2nd here? Should we guess who's going to play in the clubs?
In all three of them?
Well,
4 with the counting outside.
Yeah, who do you think is going to play where?
The big dogs you're gonna bring the big dogs in, right? You're gonna have, and in fairness, especially Govs is a hardy New York loyal. They're the game in town, right?
That's right.
I think you're gonna see the biggest and the best Long Island comedians in all the locations. And let's be honest, if ever you wanted to do a show, if you weren't a good comedian, like if me and Bosie wanted to do a show, we could literally go up on stage on that day, and I guarantee you people will be like, I'm just happy to be out. They're like, was that guy even a comic? Was he doing shadow puppets? What was he doing up there? Shut up. How's your wings? Good. Yeah, a little extra in the drink glass, and they're fine. But
a waiter's going to jump on stage just to pick up something that was left on the floor.
Yeah. You know, the tricky thing is going to be this. Some of the big comics might already be booked out of New York.
True. Yeah.
Because who knew that in a month it was going to happen.
Right.
So,
all right, we'll get back to that. Hello there. You're live on the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
All right, let's sum this up real quick. Okay, strip clubs, yes, they will be opening.
On April 2nd?
And then to answer Rich's question, why comedy clubs weren't open is because comedy clubs, they follow the same laws as far as the cabaret license. So that's why.
I'm sorry. Who's this on the phone?
Yeah, and then
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Listen, and the difference between there's not really much of a difference between the strip clubs and the comedy clubs because I'm still trying to give hand jobs out for people to come see me.
It's true, Boss. The strip clubs you go to, some of the stand-up comics are probably more attractive on the men's side, even.
Well, just I make sure I go to the classy ones where their nipples touch your belly buttons.
Yes.
I think that's where he's calling from right now.
Yes. Day job, my ass.
No, just give me a second here. Yeah, I'll take the lap dance. Yeah, champagne room. Got it. Yep. Yeah. Give me. Yeah. No, put your teeth back in. Okay. Listen, I have Glinda, the good witch of the senior citizen home, getting ready to give me a lap dance. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Good luck to you.
In defense of Bosie, he sticks by his story that he only goes to the strip clubs for the food. So, evidently they have a good vegan menu or something, and that's his story.
He sounded like he was
in a strip club.
Yeah.
And he's not even in a strip club. He was at one of those clubs like the Peep Show with the walls coming down because he's out of quarters. Tony, I gotta go. Quarters. Tony, I gotta go. Right now he's laying on the floor trying to get that last peek. And I get to hang with him every Thursday night. Woo!
They're going to see Rich and Jeff, and there will be a suicide epidemic, says Blanchenos.
Andy, I'm sorry you're not going to be the president of the fan club with that attitude, buddy.
The president of your fan club is watching. Christine is watching.
Hey!
Leanna.
Bosie's fan club, anyway.
Right. Leanna's watching. Joan Krupier's is watching. Hello, Derek. Nice to see you, pal. Charlene is watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We have Ray Abruzzo from The Sopranos. He should be joining us soon. Please like and share the show. Please hit those likes, hit those hearts, and please copy the link to any pages you can.
Now, are you guys were you big Sopranos devotees? Now, are you?
Keep going.
Did you think it was the best show in television history?
I asked him to try to come back so that I
Oh, did he respond?
I just sent it.
Oh, sorry about that.
Did you think it? Where do you rank it on best TV shows? Top 10 TV shows of all time? Number one, Sopranos. Yep. Okay.
And I will admit that Breaking Bad, I think, was a better show, but I'm keeping Sopranos at number one because I don't think a show like Breaking Bad.
Because you're afraid. You're afraid.
I'm afraid of Ray Abruzzo whacking my ass.
And you know that Walter White's dead, and there's no way
true.
he's coming out.
No, I actually loved the Sopranos ending. I loved it.
I did too.
Yeah,
I loved it.
But I'm keeping Sopranos at number one.
I also liked Game of Thrones.
Yes, I never
I got ridiculed and mocked for that.
I never watched a single second.
And Game of Thrones was by no means The Sopranos, but I also I put it in my top. I'll put it in my. I guess it's in my top 5 in any order. You could scramble them because Breaking Bad was amazing.
Right.
The Wire, I still think, is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Wire's great.
Sopranos was amazing.
But none of these shows would have happened if it wasn't for The Sopranos. That's why I keep it at number one.
Yeah, I mean, people would race home for Sunday, Sunday evenings to watch.
Sopranos changed how TV works.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was amazing.
Plus the acting, to me, you just had the best of the best on that show. I mean, Gandolfini with Edie Falco and Lorraine Bracco. I mean, the chemistry that he had with those two. It was just, and Michael Imperioli is one of my favorite actors too. I think he is just a fantastic guy. I've liked him in everything I've ever seen him in.
The cast is great.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
just a great show.
Unbelievable.
I'm actually going to start. I got to start it over again. Watch the series from the beginning again.
I've watched it. Oh, look at that! He's there.
Hey,
Game of Thrones.
Yes,
I got ridiculed and marked for that. I never watched a single second.
Oh, he's watching us.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
Sorry. Ray Abruzzo is here, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, sir?
That's what made me come on early. I had to get in. I just caught that little. Took me a while to figure out where you guys were, but as soon as I clicked on, I hear, well, maybe it's the best, maybe. So I decided to jump in.
He figured I got to end this train wreck before it gets any worse.
Before it's going to get any worse. You realize you guys are going to owe me for saving you from every Sopranos fan around the world who was about to, find out where you guys live.
Fair point.
Wow.
I'm only half kidding. You think it's pretentious that I'm wearing sunglasses? I'm just trying to sell the whole thing that I'm in sunny Los Angeles and you guys are freezing your asses off.
Well, yeah, because you know what it's like. You're a New Yorker. You're just a flat lever who went over to California.
Yeah, I think we call ourselves the fair weather friends.
So thank you for joining us this morning, Ray Abruzzo. We're very excited to have you on. I'm coming at you full force right off the bat.
Oh shit!
Why the cowboy boots? Why?
Oh, in the show.
Yes.
Well, first I'm gonna. Okay. There's so many things I want to talk about because what you might not know is that I don't know if you can tell where I live, but I actually ride a horse regularly, and I had never ridden before The Sopranos, and now I wear cowboy boots all the time.
Oh.
Even the first time I had ever worn them was in the beginning of season 5 on the show. Now. After I did the first 2 episodes in the end of season 4, and that was supposed to be it. We didn't know the character was going to go on. And then when they brought me back, I went into wardrobe, and Juliet Poloska, terrific costume designer, I walked into the wardrobe room, and she had like these Western shirts and cowboy boots and a big belt.
And you're in Florida.
And I'm thinking, no, the character I think had already moved up from Florida. But I said, what's this about? She said, David Chase just wants you to wear cowboy boots and a cowboy belt and cowboy style shirts. I said, why? And she goes, David Chase wants that. So I didn't question it, but I figured it out within minutes, actually. My character was the son of the former boss.
Right.
Perhaps wasn't that bright. And this was in, so what year was this? I don't know, 2002. So you could do the math as to who was president. It was a
W thing. Ha.
And it's funny, they hardly ever focused on the boots. There's only a couple of shots, I think, maybe when we're in the editing room of Cleaver, my feet are up on the desk or something. Right. You don't, the belt you see occasionally, the Western style shirts you see, but some of my lines were direct quotes.
Yes.
That's
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The question is, will I be successful as a boss like my dad was? And I will be, even more so. But until I am, it's going to be hard to verify that I think I'll be more effective. I remember reading that line. I got to the set, and I said to Terry Winter, I think he won 4 Emmys for for The Sopranos, and he went on to Boardwalk Empire, and he's just a terrific writer. He wrote Wolf of Wall Street as well. But I went on the set and I said, Terry, what's this? He goes, just say it. So I was like, okay. So, and then I found out later it was a direct quote. The quote was, will I be successful in foreign policy like my dad was? And I will be, even more so. But until I am, it's going to be hard to verify that I think I'll be more effective. And we all know, historically speaking, historical changes have come out of war. So
right, yes.
Yeah. So that's where that came. That's where the boots came from. But as I told David Chase recently on one of these reunion things we did, he had some kind of vision, because after that, I became a horse guy and I ride all the time and wear cowboy boots.
That's funny. Wild. Where in LA are you, ish?
I'm in Topanga Canyon-ish.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I was in Orange County for a while, so.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, it is weird
Different
moving
vibe.
from New York to California. It takes to me, it took like 10 years to get used to it.
Oh, at least. From my
10 easy.
My first few years here, I used to watch The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original movie.
Right, yeah.
Over and over, just because I was jonesing for for New York.
Yeah, you feel like really out of place for a while, and yet you have to tell people like if you're not going to put in 10 years, like don't
try it.
just because you're going to have like 10 years of sadness.
Well, even after 10 years, sometimes I'll be driving here and I'll be saying, well, how do I know where I'm going? I don't live here, but it's like, I've been here a long time. So, yeah, it takes some, I'm still kind of a
newbie.
Walking the street. Yeah, I'm a newbie after.
You're a California newbie. But everyone is. That's the whole thing. Like it's like a mindset. You just have to know like no one really belongs there. And then once you kind of like wrap your head around it, then you relax and you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm just after 30-something years, I'm just kind of settling in.
And what drew you to go in there? Because I know you were raised in Queens and you're a big theater guy. So what was it? Hoping to get bigger roles on TV or movies or something?
Yeah, well, I came out here just on a lark for a couple of months. I did a sublet, and then it was just the lifestyle that kind of took over. And then I did see that there was much, back then there was very little TV work in New York.
Right.
And I don't know, it just the lifestyle kind of felt good to me at the time. I lived in I went from living on East 6th Street in New York between 1st and 2nd, where I literally looked out the window and saw a guy breaking into the apartment across the way, to living in a little apartment on the beach in Malibu, where I saw dolphins and whales.
Right.
So it was like, let's see. So,
coin flip.
Yeah, but I crave those days back in New York. I loved those salad days, as they said, when I was living, working in a liquor store on 15th Street and 3rd Avenue, right by the Bowery, and living on East 6th Street. Those were great days.
Oh, absolutely. I love it here.
Those are long time ago. Days long. I mean, that whole area, East Village now, from when I was living there.
Oh yeah, it's so different.
I was paying $175 a month.
Wow. Jeez, that would be just for the bathroom.
You could
now.
add a zero and it would be horribly smaller than.
No, that's use of the elevator gives you 100.
Yeah, you get like a walk-in closet for that.
And this didn't even have this was on the 5th floor walk-up, but it was a great little place. I wish I still had it. So.
Wow. So all right, so I have so it's very interesting. So I know I've heard your story about how you got into acting. It was really just because you saw the girls in the auditorium.
Yeah, you heard that story.
Yeah.
So I guess should I tell it again?
Oh yeah, if you want. I mean, yeah.
You guys are into comedy. Does it really help when somebody gives the punchline?
You're right. My apologies.
Have you met Tony?
Right. So tell the joke where the priest says orgasm. I was just tying my shoe. Okay, so
you save so much time.
You know what? Let me tell you what Ray did to me. Even trying to set this up, I'm emailing him. I'm telling him when we're on the air, and I said, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's when we're on 11 o'clock our time. He writes back an email. All right, well, I can do next Wednesday. That would work. And I'm like, and he totally got me. I'm looking. I'm like, son of a bitch! I freaking said we're not on.
He is stupid like George W. Bush.
And where's the end?
You lasted longer than most.
I can't find that button. I'd be gone.
So I wrote back. I said, I'm sorry, but we're not on Wednesdays. He's like, yeah, I'm messing with you. I'm like, son of a bitch. All right, so I'm going to shut up now. And yes, tell us your story at school, how you got into acting.
Well, I did audition for the first play, and my motivation was when I looked in the auditorium, it said, auditions today, and it's all the pretty girls were in there. So I walked in, and that's why I went in. But once I got the part, then I got bitten by the bug, as they say, and so I guess I was 14, and I never looked back. I mean, I told my parents I was going to go to law school. I went to St. John's University with that intention. I kept telling them, I'm going to go to law school, but never.
But you already had the bug in high school, and you were raring to go, huh?
Yeah, and I did. We even started even after my first summer in high school. We started a summer theater just with kids in Middle Village, and we took a church gave us an auditorium, and we ended up raising money from the National Endowment on the Arts and the Queen's Endowment on the Art. And we were just a bunch of teenagers, and we would do 3 or 4 plays a year, build the sets ourselves every summer, and just live in the theater. And so I did that, and then that was it. And then I went to St. John's, like I said, so my parents would think I was going to law school, and if my mother's watching, she thinks I'm a lawyer. So
You're an LA lawyer.
Right.
I was on LA Law.
Right, you show her LA Law and scenes from the practice. You just keep showing that to her. Look,
Yeah.
Mom.
That's true.
You're like, I have to have this role because my mom's watching. Don't even pay me. I just wanted her to see me as a lawyer.
You know, it's so funny how your parents or your mother or anybody, how they see things in this business. I remember my mother, like 10 years after I was on an episode of, what the hell, Riptide. Remember
Oh,
that show?
sure. Yeah.
So anyway, I had kind of, long hair. And I remember my mother saw a Riptide, a rerun, maybe 10 years after it was on. And she calls me, she goes, I just watched that Riptide. You really do need to get a haircut.
I know it's COVID,
Right.
but there has to be a barber open in LA somewhere.
Cut it yourself. Look, I mean, even this, I got one so far in the COVID thing, but it had gotten pretty long there a couple of months ago. I went almost 11 months without a haircut.
Yeah.
Tony, how long for you?
Yeah, it's been a little longer than I think. Yeah.
Nice.
But talking about doing things, for girls, I've done that too. With lots of girls like to watch soap operas, and my ex-wife used to watch General Hospital. So of course, if you want to get laid, you watch whatever she wants to watch, and that's actually where I first saw you. You were on General Hospital for a while.
No, I was on Dynasty.
Dynasty? You were at General Hospital too, weren't you?
I'd remember.
No,
but I understand why you're making the confusion, because I played Emma Sam's boyfriend on Dynasty, Fallon's boyfriend, and she originally started on General Hospital. So maybe
you weren't you were a detective, right?
I was a detective on Dynasty.
Right.
All right, but which I knew.
One was on at night, Tony. One was on in the daytime.
I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong, but I even had, and I swear to God, this is true. I had General Hospital fans contact me saying they're looking forward to seeing Ray because they remember him from General Hospital.
Well, somebody owes him residuals.
Well, maybe those guys are doing mushrooms.
Yeah. Wow, I would swear. I
never did a daytime soap.
Okay,
All right. They're very different. They're very different animals the way they're shot. Daytime soaps and
sure.
Nighttime soaps. Dynasty was an experience. I mean, they never had a guy like me on the show, but so that was kind of a trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a weird thing to get into the soaps? Well, even whether it's nighttime or daytime, because it's a lot of those guys get stuck in that world, and they get typecast, I guess, if you will. Were you ever worried about something like that?
Well, after Dynasty, I was offered daytime soaps, and I really did see that as kind of a trap, because I'd always see somebody, they're celebrating their 30th year on, As the Stomach Turns or something.
Which one is this? This is
That's Dynasty.
We're
showing a picture of you from Dynasty.
We have your Dynasty picture with your like white shirt all opened up and your chest hanging all over this girl.
I don't know why this is. I can't see you guys now.
Oh, that's
but I think it might be a blessing.
Yeah, really. No one's ever been sad about that.
This is Tony's new screensaver.
But thing, it's mine too. That's the
I'm sure you didn't mind the love scenes though.
No, and that was really kind of my first big. I'm going to switch to my other glasses because I know you. I've already established I'm a pretentious asshole. So.
Yeah.
Once that's established, I could do anything. So that was pretty amazing. Like I said, they never had a guy like me on the show. They were all kind of waspy, and then there was a new producer that last season, and they brought my character on. He was supposed to be like a Columbo Serpico mix kind of thing,
right?
Which is kind of my niche. But then I had those love scenes and was getting paid for them. So.
Right. Okay. I got to make out with Emma Sam's. All right.
Oh, no.
Not a bad day.
Yeah, I remember saying, "Oh no, not that." And there's I know you guys were talking about political correctness now and then and all that kind of. There are jokes we would make then that we can't make now.
Oh yeah, we talked. Yeah, we did. We talked about it the other day too. Just soap operas in general, how daytime or nighttime, the sex scenes on those shows, even back in the '80s. Was very risque, and now everything gets canceled and everything is bad and you can't say certain things. Where those shows back then, that's all they were was violence and sex. That's why we watched them.
But if you go to cable now, any regular cable show has they good amount of nudity. I mean, look at The Sopranos. Certainly had enough.
Sure.
Bada Bing and all that.
Right.
I never went to the Bing. Little Carmine never went to the Bing. I just thought I'd let that.
You couldn't work that in somewhere, huh?
If there's a Sopranos trivia buff, there's a question for you. Did Little Carmine ever go to the Bing? The answer is no.
Hanging out in Florida with all the retirees, damn it.
No, he was only in Florida for a little while.
The golf courses and
fixing wet T-shirts.
Right. But they didn't even show that. They just talked about it.
No, they made a reference to it once, and everybody brings that up all the time. He never fixed wet T-shirt. He was a judge, and he was a good, fair judge.
Damn it!
There's no losers in a wet T-shirt
they were never
contest.
Fixed, damn it!
All right, and I have to tell you, and coming from a serious standpoint, I thought you were a genius as Little Carmine, and I'm dead serious when I say that, because you can take a character like that. Well, first off, and I've seen interviews with you where what they were looking for with Little Carmine was not, physically was not you.
Right.
But then, well, you know what? And explain how you got the part, what you did because you had to film yourself auditioning for the part. Tell everybody what you did, and then I'll expand on that.
This was in the early days of what they call self-tape auditions. They still call them self-tape, even though everybody does their with their iPhones now. But it was very early then. Nobody ever did that. And Sopranos only got cast out of New York. They never cast anybody out of L.A. at all. But especially for a series regular part. So they asked me to put myself on tape for the part of the guy that did the intervention with Christopher.
Right.
Elias Koteas did it. He did a great job. It was a one episode deal, and I did it. And in those days, I had to videotape myself on a compact VHS, transfer it to VHS, and FedEx it by 4:30 that night to New York so they could watch it the next morning. So, I had to borrow a camera, then find somebody to read off camera, and then, so I didn't get that part, and I was pretty crushed, but they said, well, David Chase liked you, maybe something in the future. And I thought, yeah, I've heard that every time you don't get a part. They say, no, they like you, but maybe for something else. But then a week or so later, maybe who knows how long, they said, David wants you to read for this part of Little Carmine. So I read the breakdown. It said Little Carmine, anything but little, upwards of 250 or 300 pounds, sweating profusely with the twitching eye.
Yeah, the twitching eye got me. I'm like, how many actors can you ask to do a twitching eye scene?
I said, boy, does he have my number. So I literally called my agent. I said, I think there's a mistake here. This has to be wrong. They said, no, David Chase specifically asked for you to audition for this. So they gave me kind of a hint that he's smarter than he thinks he is, that he uses big words. So I didn't know. I just came up with the idea of mispronouncing Versailles as Versailles.
Right.
And on my audition tape. And then I transferred it to VHS. I swear to God, I got to the mailbox place as the FedEx guy was pulling away. And I just...
You're like, please.
and then I got the part. So because they liked my take on the character, that I understood the humor.
Yeah, you got it.
But it's not only the humor is, because they all, let's face it, they weren't all Rhodes Scholars there. I mean,
right.
Tony said he had an albacore around his neck. They all, very few of them didn't have their share of malaprops. But for some reason, Little Carmine's level of malaprops kind of took off. But it was, it came from the writing. The writing was so good, and I made it early on that I wasn't going to try to play this for the jokes. That he's really making a point. He's just using the wrong words, mispronouncing the words. But the point he's making, he believes. And if you look at the whole scope of the show, he was usually right.
Yes,
he was always.
That's exactly why I think you were genius with that role, because you mispronounced words, you came out with the weird expressions. I mean, two completely different shows, but you take a show like Friends, where Matt again. Well, hear me out. Matt LeBlanc's character.
Why do you say two different kinds of shows? I consider them.
Yeah, they're really mobsters, those six.
Yeah, that and My Mother the Car. I think.
All right, let me explain.
I want to see you bring this full circle, buddy.
You realize how many times you've said, "Let me explain."
I believe you, baby. Take it away.
Matt LeBlanc's character as Joey was much more believable when the show first started. Eventually, they go, and he gets almost cartoonish because he's so stupid. Where you played him, as not the sharpest tool in the shed, but believable. So that even at a part towards the end, when you said to Tony, or Little Carmine says to Tony, that it's not about being the boss, it's about being happy. Yeah. You didn't play him. Fine, I agree. It's all in the writing, but it's also in the delivery. It's also in the performance. You made him not the sharpest tool, but when he can say something as profound as it's not about being the boss, it's being happy, and having that really affected Tony. So
totally.
He would have killed it. Tony's whole world would have been. He would have killed for that.
Right.
He would have killed to be happy instead of.
And because of how you played Carmine, it made it believable that he can say something as stupid as Versailles, but also but also say something as profound like that to Tony. And the character really did care. He's always trying to be the peacemaker. You made it believable without going too far. And I personally think that's really hard to do. I've done some acting, nothing on your level of it's all local stuff, but as an actor, I appreciated that, and I really did. I thought you nailed it, completely nailed it.
Thank you. Yeah, I made that choice early on that regardless of what he's saying, he believes it, and it's important, and and he also there were so many levels. That scene in particular, I think, is really deep because it actually resonates even into the very last scene in the show, where I think AJ says something about, Dad, you always said something about, enjoy these happy moments because, that's what's important in life. And I think that reverted back to what Little Carmine had said to Tony. And you could see the look on Jimmy's face when I say that to him about it's not about being boss and about the fact that my wife doesn't want to be the wealthiest widow. I think that really did resonate.
He didn't want to be. He didn't want to be the boss. Which is great.
It was framed in the context of mellifluous box. It resonated, and that's a tribute to the writers. Terry Winter, in particular, really crafted a lot of those scenes.
Now, what do you take more? What do you get more accolades for when you're out and about? Being Little Carmine or being Little Pops?
Well, you really dug for that one. I have to tell you, my first day on the set, I'm walking down the hallway, and Steve Sharippa is coming to it. Now, since I was cast in L.A., I didn't know anybody. Those guys all kind of knew each other, but I had been out in L.A. a while. I mean, there were a few actors I had worked with. I had done a play with Patty Darbanville, and I knew Marianne Leone, who played Christopher's mom. Yeah, she's just a terrific. She's a brilliant writer too. You were talking about something about disabled kids and people. She wrote a book called Knowing Jesse. She's married to Chris Cooper. I'm really going off on a tangent here, but tough. She's married to the terrific actor Chris Cooper.
He's great. Absolutely.
I think he's one of the great American actors. Anyway, we were in acting class all years ago, and they met there, and they're still together. But they had a child who suffered from cerebral palsy, I believe it was, and she wrote a book about it, and it deals with a lot what you guys were talking about, disabilities. So if anybody's interested in that, it's a book called Knowing Jesse by Marianne Leone. It's worth reading. Okay, now where was I?
I'm writing that down. Actually.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. Thanks.
I think we were talking about Friends.
So I went from Little Pops. So we went from Little Pops to a serious discussion about. So I'm walking down the hallway, and Sharippa, who I don't know at all, he goes, "Abruzzo, Wienerville." I had been doing TV, lots of TV for about 30 years, and he comes up with, "I'm such a huge fan of Wienerville." And I just did Talking Sopranos, that podcast, which is only second only to this. And
finally, someone recognizes. Finally.
And you have Michael and Steve on the thing, and all of a sudden Steve starts asking me about Wienerville. And
That's awesome.
You see Michael just go, "What the what are they talking about? He had no, and because Sharippa was a huge Wienerville fan. So I'm going to, for the people that don't know, it was a kids show on Nickelodeon in the early 90s. And I in the late 70s, I was also a writer and a director in the theater. And I worked with a comedian named Mark Wiener. He was originally a mime, and I helped him write his act and go into the clubs. And then he ended up with a show on Nickelodeon, and they brought me in to be the head writer. And then I also did a couple of the puppets. Look, my hands automatically went to do
I know. You're like, and I was a puppeteer.
Right away you go into the.
Well, this was Louis. Pops. So
I was a mime.
So I have that going for me.
So little Pops wasn't the inspiration for Little Carmine?
No, I wouldn't say he was the inspiration, but I draw on it. You know what I mean? It's like I draw on the important elements of my life to fill out any character that I'm working on. So, yeah, Pops.
I got a question for you because I'm a big fan. I'm a big sports guy, and I was reading that you did Lombardi, correct?
Yes, I did.
And I was wondering if you could tell a little bit about that because I mean I've watched a bunch of stuff on Lombardi, and he had such a unbelievable personality.
Oh yeah,
like the guy they said.
I didn't realize he yelled.
He
all
didn't
the
have an
time.
off switch. Like he was just all motivational. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, my friend Dan Lauria, we've been friends for a million years. He's the father on the Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
So we've done a lot of theater together. We had a play reading group that we did out here in LA every Monday night for 10 years. And everybody on the planet read. I mean, we're read with Charles Durning, Jack Klugman, Joe Monte, everybody, Peter Fall, everybody would read. Anyway, so Dan's really dedicated to the theater. So then he ended up doing Lombardi on Broadway.
Right.
And then there was a period of time when they thought the show might go on the road, and they were looking for somebody that would either take it on the road or take over in New York. And Dan, so I went to New York to watch the show and see Dan in it, and I saw it and I thought, you know, there's nothing in me. There's nothing here that I feel any connection to this character whatsoever. It's just not me. Dan, you other guy, forget about it. You know, they'll find somebody else at the time. Anyway, the show ended up closing anyway, but the first time it went out of town, they called me and they said, are you interested? And I thought, well, out of town, I'd like to give this a shot because it's a complete challenge. It's like I said, I don't have this immediate connection to the character physically, vocally, any aspect of it. So I took it, and it took me a few weeks, but then all of a sudden, you know, I kind of did a makeup test. You know, I put the space in my teeth, and I cut my hair, and I made my hair gray, and I put on a little weight, and you know, you put that hat on and those glasses, and all of a sudden, it's like, I'm starting to feel this guy, you know, and I put a football in my hand, and the other actors were so supportive, and it did really click for me. And it was a big moment for acting, because it was like, okay, here's a real challenge. You know, we always gravitate to things that resonate with us immediately as we read it. If the engine starts going while you're reading, you're thinking, okay, this is a role I want. And that one didn't have that, but I found it. And that was kind of more rewarding than things that come easy, because and as far as the yelling, I remember calling Dan and I said, Dan, you know, I'm working on this, but boy, you know, you do 8 shows a week, you know, and in regional theater,
you tear your vocal cords
up. In regional theater, you do 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday.
Right.
So you got those 5 Friday, 2 and then so by Monday, and your only day off is Monday, and the character does yell, and I remember thinking, Dan, how do you do this? You know, we discussed how physically you protect your voice. And I'd always say, I think I found a line I don't have to yell on. And then the character's next line was, why are you yelling? It's like...
There's just so much like chamomile and lemon and honey you can drink every night to get in between, you know? It hurts after a while.
You know, and we did that play in the round. So I had like 4 different entrances that I'd have to make, you know, and I'd have... At each entrance, I'd have a cup of throat coat tea. And, I developed this habit of, you know, those fisherman friend lozenges.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can taste that just you like saying it. I'm like, the fisherman.
I need something, you know, so that's become a habit. Whenever I do a play, I suck on the fisherman's friend, and I have a little cup by the entrance, every entrance I make. and I spit them out and I put it in. And that became, from doing that play, it would kind of just, and now it's more like a superstition.
It's so funny. Well, it's so funny with that stuff because it's so, that fisherman lozenge, it's so old school. It was like before the Tylenol poison back in the 70s when like everything is like now all plastic and wrapped again and then stuck into a box. Like someone at the plant grabs some, shoves it in a bag, like not even a plastic bag, sticks it in a box and goes, and that's like the end of it. And like, it's so funny.
That's the worst endorsement for a lozenge I've ever heard in my life. It's like, I mean, they taste like shit, but we put them in there ourselves and, have at it.
It tastes awful. And who knows who's putting it in the box?
Gloves when we put them in the bag, we use our bare hands.
Yeah, it's like it falls on the ground. They're scooping it up, but it's the only thing that really takes a cough away. Like it really.
Those are the same people who
works.
use like baking soda to brush their teeth. Right? Like,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, just that.
Yeah.
So Ray, when you watched the Super Bowl this year, you were like, because they had that whole intro with the a guy playing.
Lombard. Do you know how many people called me and asked me if that was me? And people, no, it's true. And people started, posting pictures of me as Lombardi, and people saying, "Oh, I saw you. You were terrific."
You say thank you very much.
Well, no, I'd say thank you if I went to the mailbox and the check was there. But
yeah, right.
Well, it's coming in with the General Hospital money.
That's true. Yeah. I remember I did some movie I was cut out of, and somehow I still got residuals for it. I thought,
nice.
You left your sweatshirt on the couch.
If I could get residuals for everything I'm not in.
Oh yeah, that's a living.
Then I could retire.
Yeah.
Actually, well, and I did hear somewhere that you almost ended up on Boardwalk Empire.
Well, I auditioned for it. That's about as almost as it got. Show. Yeah,
right.
Of course, because which part was it to play? I forgot which part, but again, it wasn't one that really jumped out at me, but I thought I gave it a shot. Yeah.
Were you worried after The Sopranos about being typecast as as a mobster or something, or is it just screw it? I'll take the work.
It wasn't a matter of being worried. It was a fact.
Is that right?
Like you said, on Dynasty, I played a cop. On Night Court, which you didn't mention.
Yeah, I love Night Court.
We were getting there. Look, it's.
I just thought,
it's on my list.
Okay, so another beautiful woman, another making
Marky Post.
Right, she's beautiful.
Yeah. Baby.
So I played a lot of cops, and then I was on The Practice for 6 years, playing a homicide detective. So I played mostly cops and lawyers up until that point, until The Sopranos. The only time I played a mobster was I did the play Vesper's Eve, and I played Lucky Luciano, but that was years earlier. Other than that, I never played mobsters.
But even on The Sopranos, you weren't like this gruesome mobster. You were like mobster light. You weren't like this awful character. You had reason,
He was just born into it, and who knows what else he would have done. But after that, there was a real dry period. It worked. It was really a double-edged sword. There were the shows that say, well, he's a mobster, but we don't want to cast somebody from The Sopranos as the mobster, because then they think we're just trying to do The Sopranos.
Right.
Then the ones that say, oh, he plays a mobster, we could just plug him in and people will know he's the mobster right away. So it didn't really work in my favor. And I didn't work after The Sopranos. I wouldn't get any of those cop and lawyer and doctor parts that I had been doing before, because obviously I'm so educated. And that wasn't a joke.
Sounds like we were really close to getting Wienerville too. like this close.
So it was really a double-edged sword, and I didn't really want to do, real mobster parts on some crummy TV show. So sometimes I would just turn them down because I could at that point, and then I couldn't anymore. So I started doing them. Any one season show. Oh, they need a mobster. Okay, I'll do it. And but a lot of times if they wanted a mobster, then they'd also go with those bigger guys, that look at the part more than I. Unless it was sometimes I played bosses and things like that. But so it really was a double-edged sword. I actually was writing a piece called, I was at the gym one day, and I was kind of depressed because it was like a long time that I wasn't working after The Sopranos. And I thought, The Sopranos, my career's set. I'm going to be working from now on. And there was a long period of time where I didn't. And somebody said, how you doing, Ray? I said, I'm actually not doing so well. I'm suffering from PSSS. And they said, what's that? And I said, post-Sopranos stress syndrome. And several people at the gym laughed, and I thought, oh, well, there's a little something. So I started to write a piece about, because there really was that. Unless you were those guys, the main guys, the guys in the cigar aficionado ads from the show.
Right.
They could go off it, but I was just like always the next guy. It's like if the frame was bigger in those magazine articles, I'd be there, but it's like, okay, I'm right there. So I just missed being able to really ride the wave like some of those other guys did. And I wasn't on long enough to be able to retire and make a lot of money and buy a house, so so it was a double-edged sword. But now as time's gone on, it's actually, I'm finding more results from being on The Sopranos now. The popularity now is mind-blowing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's during I think it was the most watched binge show during the pandemic, as somebody said, and all over the world. I mean, I do these cameo videos. I don't know if you know what they are, but
yeah, we do.
I do a lot of them, and they're all for Ireland and England and Australia.
Oh, that's great.
I did one from Mallorca, Spain. I did, it's huge. It's just, and these are kids. They'll say, oh, it's my friend's 21st birthday. He's watched the show 3 times. It's like, the show's been off the air since you were 4. But they know every line. So it's really had a whole new life. And I'm riding it because you know what? It was an important show.
Oh, yeah.
I feel incredibly grateful to have been a part of it. And, there you have it.
But even sometimes, being you were a regular on The Sopranos, but like you said, you were just outside, the magazine covers. Sometimes being a character actor in that sense you're more long lasting. You go on longer because sometimes you get these people that they become so famous for a certain part that they can't get other roles. Where the character actors are the ones that keep on working. The Jerry Adlers, and a lot of people like yourself. I mean, I know you've done a lot of lead roles. In fact, we just watched Somebody Marry Me, and
we
and
just
loved
watched it last night.
But
wow. Yeah, that was a little different from Little Carmine, wouldn't you say?
Yes, just a little bit.
But it was interesting. Are you going to explain like what the movie was, or the
sure,
interesting stuff? Because it is like kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I'll let you explain what that was all about. But I am curious how it was. Because to me, it was very similar to just doing a play. I mean, there was a lot more to do.
Explain what it is first,
yeah,
and then we can talk about it.
Sure.
Well, I had a recurring role on a show called In Plain Sight. And I was flying down to Albuquerque. They shot in Albuquerque. And a guy sits next to me in the waiting room. And you could say, oh, okay, he's an actor. So I said, you going to do In Plain Sight? He goes, yes. We started chatting. We sat next to each other on the plane. And there was another actress who was sitting next to me. He was on the aisle. I was on the aisle. We're flying down to Albuquerque. And we just started chatting. And it turns he's an actor, but he's also a director. And his father was a very famous director. His father, interestingly enough, William Asher, this is John Asher. William Asher was his father, who invented the multi-camera for I Love Lucy.
Oh, wow.
He came up with the multi-camera like all sitcoms had done. So John and I would talk, and he was directing, and then he came to see me in a play after that, and he said, I'm going to tell you one more quick thing before that.
Sure.
As we're landing into Albuquerque, the young actress, the actress next to me was scared of flying. So she was like kind of holding my hand like this. Now all of a sudden the plane does one of these, I mean, it just drops and we all stiffen.
You got to feel her up.
You can't say that anymore. She was, so she digs her hand and I look at John and he tells me a FedEx plane he could see out his window flew directly over us.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he could actually see the pilot as he looked out the window. So we kind of bonded.
That's crazy that FedEx started your career with The Sopranos and almost ended it on this other show.
Could you imagine?
That's crazy.
That's good. I have a good callback. You should go into comedy. So anyway, John and I became friends, and then he had this idea. He said, I've always wanted to do a movie with no cuts. Because you didn't be able to do that before because of the film magazines were only a certain length, so you couldn't make a big long movie. But now with digital, you could shoot as long as the battery lasts. So he came up with an idea and he wrote this script called Somebody Marry Me, which is shot in one long continuous shot, not one cut in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And it's 4 or 5 locations, 15 actors. I actually get in a truck and drive and the camera gets in with me. So never at any point in the movie does the camera ever cut. It's just
crazy.
one
Unbelievable.
long shot. So whatever goes wrong, you have
Right.
to kind of go with it. And this was low budget, so we didn't even stop traffic. There's a scene where I'm driving, we're stopped at a light.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it happens to be the longest light in Los Angeles. And John's in the back of the truck with the sound crew. And, there's a pause in my dialogue. He goes, Ray, you have to just riff. Okay. So in the movie, all of a sudden, I have a bagel company, and there's a young woman next to me, and I just start riffing on different types of bagels to fill time till the light changes. But you know what popped? As soon as he said you have to riff, all of a sudden I thought of Christopher Guest in Best in Show.
I love that movie.
When he's talking about pine nut,
Right.
macadamia nut, that's the one that made my mother go crazy. Where he names all the different kind, and somehow that just popped into my mind. So I said, you have all kinds of bagels. You have your sesame seed.
And then we have everything.
Right, Bubba Gump.
Bubba Gump.
Shrimp Creole.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. No, go.
So people understand the movie was shot, and we only did it once, one take from beginning to end.
Crazy.
And it's,
We never
what, an
rehearsed.
hour and a half?
Yeah, it's 98 minutes, and we never rehearsed. We never ran through the whole movie with camera and everything until the film that you see.
Are you kidding? That was going to be one of my questions because I just
we
figured
never made it.
I figured
We
you'd
never-
have to do like honestly, I really kind of
One
thought
take.
you did maybe 3 run-throughs.
We tried the
Because
first one.
how can
there
you
was
not? There
was an actor.
Amazing.
There was an actor. I won't mention his name, but he never got the concept that we weren't cutting.
Which one? Tell us.
I'm not going to tell you, but he appears twice in the movie, in the beginning and the end. And in the first scene, like 5 or 10 minutes in, I deliver my line, and he goes, "Line." You can't ask for line. He says, "Well, they'll just cut." He says, "No, we're not cutting." What do you mean you're not cutting? He said, "Well, you could just cut away." No, we're not cutting. I don't know.
So you had to start over after that?
So, and when you start over on a movie like that, you got to go. Everybody goes back to one. That means
Right,
setting
yeah.
every bagel, the truck has to go back. Actors at all other locations, so everything goes back to one.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
So now we do the second take. We only had one day, by the way. We had the
Right.
location. for
Well,
one
you had
day.
an hour and a half, right? Like then it was like done, That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, not about an hour and a half for pay.
Yeah. So the second take, we try it and we get 78 minutes in. We're at one of the last locations, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see the cameraman lifts the camera off his shoulder and drop his head, and then the director says, "Cut," and I look up, and the cameraman, brilliant guy, was working so hard. He went hand the whole time. So he and I always called him my Ginger Rogers because he had to do everything I did,
Right,
but
right.
backwards for this. So he and I really had a rhythm because I'd always have to clear the lens so he could see the other actors. And there were no marks on the floor because you couldn't, because we were doing all these wide shots, and I'd have to know to walk wide so he could get in the door. There was so many details that we only talked about, but
Right.
we never really rehearsed. So I had to keep all that stuff in my head. So what happened is the memory card on the camera filled up and froze at 78 minutes in. So we go all the way back to one again. And now it's getting late and it's starting to drizzle and we have to
Yes.
break for lunch. So we all break for lunch and we're thinking we're not gonna be able to do it. And it's like the director says, well, it's 3:30. If we start at 3:30, we could get one in and still have enough light. So everybody said, are we all willing to try it one more time? And we did. And he said to me, he pulls me aside and he says, when you get to that last scene, which is the same guy as the first scene that said line,
Right.
who he still never got it. He said, just power through the scene. Whatever he says, you just keep talking.
Right. Right.
So he said, we'll just keep zipping the camera back to you and just keep. So, John, he was in communication with the cameraman and the sound people. And I can only kind of hear when I stop talking, they might throw something at me of what to do. And we powered through it and we did it. And when he said cut, there was a moment of silence on the set, and then everybody basically broke into tears.
Oh, wow.
I bet.
It was
Did you
just-
have like just posters all over walls of people's lines? Because you can't even.
No.
Like I was
mean,
thinking when you were driving in the van, like maybe there would be like on the windshield there'd be
No,
like
he's really
the
driving.
lines.
I was actually really, I was really driving. You
Right.
couldn't that because you never knew where the camera was going to look.
All right, so that goes back to my original statement then. So I mean, I understand completely as far as, finding your mark and working with the cameraman. But as far as the character and the lines and doing it in one take, it's a theater guy like yourself, that must have been probably the easy part.
Well, that's when John came up with the idea. He then went to see me in a play called Mauritius at the Pasadena Playhouse, and I think in that play I had like an 8-page monologue in the second act.
Wow!
Which was, and once he saw me in an hour and a half play, he thought, well, this guy could do it because there's some great actors that just don't have the facility in the
it's really
a separate
difficult.
skill set. It's not better or worse.
Sure,
it's just,
right.
The poor camera guy, like I remember when the movie first starts, like you could just tell that he's just like walking, like the movie kind of like jumbles a bit. I'm like, this poor guy, whoever is stuck with this, he's probably like people, get out of my way,
Yeah, what he did was just,
I bet when that was over, like you said, you burst into tears. But I bet even after that, you're like, man, that was so much freaking fun.
You remember remember back in the day they were talking like I saw something on Hitchcock one time and they were saying how he
did that, didn't he?
Well, he tried to, but Ray brought up, they didn't have the equipment. Right.
So he would hide cuts.
Okay.
That's done in a lot of movies. There's quite a few movies that claim to be one-shot
Yeah,
movies.
Birdman did that.
Yeah, but they hide. So like if a camera is panning and it goes past a pillar, say, they could cut at that point and do another.
Or they go into a dark closet or something, right?
Like 1917 they hyped up like it was one continuous scene.
Right,
Remember?
yes.
They did a lot of that too.
Right.
And in the movie Rope, that Hitchcock planned it that way. The camera pans behind a couch, and that's where he'd make his cut and then continue the move. But he planned it. He knew that that's the way it was going to do. Other people do it just to cover their ass because they couldn't pull it off in one shot. Like we did.
Like you did.
Super.
Line. I do have one question, though. There was one scene that, I don't even know if you call it one scene because it's all one take, but one part of the movie that I didn't get, and I was hoping you can explain. You sit down quickly and you turn on the TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
What was? And then
my idea. That was my idea.
But what is that, and what? And I didn't get how it fit in. So can you explain that to me, if you don't mind?
Yeah, that was the movie. That was the movie Touch of Evil.
Okay.
By Orson Welles, and at that point, that was the longest single shot.
We knew it was like something.
We knew there was it was a reference to something. We just couldn't get it. Okay.
That was my idea.
Nice.
The movie starts. That's a great movie, Touch of Evil, with Charlton Heston and Orson Welles. Is amazing.
Yeah.
And the movie starts with if I remember correctly, a hand putting a bomb in a car, and then the camera pulls back, and it just keeps pulling back until people get in the car. Then it follows them as they're driving through the border between Mexico and California. Which, by the way, if you see that movie, it's shot at Venice Beach in California. You can see the arches.
Oh wow! Okay.
On Venice Boulevard. But at that point, I think it's 3 minutes, and that's the longest single shot without a cut.
Until
John Asher and Ray Abruzzo.
And some guy who didn't get the concept.
I swear to God, I'm going to tell you this. After we finished, he said, "So are you working tomorrow?"
You just say yes.
Yeah, I'll meet you here in the morning.
yeah, know your lines.
All right,
great.
All right, so we're gonna let you go in just a second. I have one last question for you. Because I'm
you
curious.
really have to let me go because I got someplace to be in October.
Oh, you know what? That I wanted to ask you too. During this time, because things are starting to slowly open up a little bit here. Anything going on
in New York? How's it in
Yeah,
California?
like any theater? You have anything going on there?
Don't forget it. Theater's going to be the last thing to open up, and it's it's funny because since I know theater's going to be the last thing to open up, I'm jonesing to do theater.
I bet
now more than I ever have. There's just something so exciting about that. There's some things. I know some people working, they're working under very unusual conditions, masks and people getting tested and all that. I actually got both shots. Ow. Okay, it didn't hurt.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm fully vaccinated and I wear my mask.
Nice.
I use my hand sanitizer. I do the whole 9 yards. Actually, it's 6 feet.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I'm recycling something. Is that okay to recycle stuff on your show?
Sure.
Anyway,
That's all we do
every day.
Every day.
So I wanted to ask you.
That doesn't surprise me. Go ahead.
We got another fan.
Well, the club is actually opening up again next month, so we're probably out of here at that point.
Yeah, we just got
we get
news
the real
about that.
talent in now that the club's open.
Yeah, we had a good run.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No, I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us.
No.
Man, this guy's gonna kick my ass, but from California.
You're lucky I'm in California.
Well, I wanted to ask.
Kick your ass. I'm just scared to get on the plane.
I'll send